Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I've got another deck profile for you. And in today's video guys, we're going to be taking a look at a deck that placed top 8 in the 2016 US Nationals Tournament. It is going to be a Trevenant deck, and this is one of the Trevenant decks that placed. There's actually another one featuring Absol that I'll be covering probably tomorrow or so, but this is a very straightforward, straight to the list, is that even the right wording? But this is straight to the point. We'll go with that, Trevenant. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at it here first. Has the ability Forest Curse. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any item cards from his or her hand. Now this is a very devastating ability, mostly because of the fact that a lot of decks play just a ton of trainers. You got cards like Battle Compressor, Trainer's Mail, Ultra Ball, VS Seeker, and just so many others. And basically whenever this comes out, they can't play them, and this deck's pretty much geared around getting this out immediately. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the trainers and stuff here first, but I'm going to cover the Pokemon here a little bit, and then we're going to ease into the strategy of the deck. Now the next thing we're going to take a look at, I'm going to give you guys a little second here to turn your heads and read this. Trevenant Break has the attack Silent Fear, which puts 3 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So pretty much with this attack, you have the capability of taking multiple prizes a turn, and if you're going against a deck that has a lot of low HP Pokemon, like Vespiquen Queen, Night March, or just something along those lines, then you definitely have a lot of capabilities of taking a bunch of prizes, and throughout the game you might be heavily damaging some Pokemon, and then you can kind of just set up knockouts, and if you're absolutely disrupting the living crap out of your opponent, then Silent Fear is just going to come pretty much into more play. But something I forgot to note here is Trevenant, of course, has Tree Slam. It does 60, and then this attack does 20 to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is kind of setting up Silent Fear a little more, just adding damage to the bench. And with 60 damage, yes, you're not going to be doing that much. But when you add a lot of disruption and you add a lot of the cards that are in this deck, make it to where your opponent can't really do much of anything, then 60 damage seems like quite a bit. Now something I kind of noticed with this list here is that there is no bursting balloons, and this list is pretty much geared all around just total disruption. Now, another Pokemon we're going to take a look at is this Phantom, and this is the one that is pretty much the most popular because of its Ascension attack. If you're going second and you just can't pull off that Wally for some reason, you can use Ascension, and with Dimension Valley, this is a free attack. But pretty much what this does, it allows you to search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it on this Pokemon. So basically, you Ascension and you get Trevenant out. The Trainer Lock is automatically in. But that is a scenario that you can pop up in. Shaman, this is really good for the mirror, and on top of that, well, this list doesn't play any DCE, but forget I said that. But this Shaman is pretty much in here just for setup, allowing you to try to draw into your Wallies faster, your Trainer's Mail faster, just whatever you might need throughout the matchup. And that's the Pokemon. No Wobbuffet, nothing here, just a straight Trevenant line. Now, the cool thing about this deck is that with Wally, you're able to get the lock set up pretty much right away if you're able to draw into it. And with 3 Wally, that's very likely, along with the 4 Ultra Ball for Shaman, and then the 4 Trainer's Mail is what I meant to click on first, to try to search out the Wally. So from there, you get that lockout, then you're going to have other cards, like Red Card, which pretty much makes your opponent, it's half of a judge. Your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and then draws 4. And then you pair this up with a card called Delinquent, which is a very nasty combination. You discard any stadium card in play. If you do, your opponent discards 3 cards from their hand. So if you pair this up with Red Card, you're going to be pretty much just adding a whole bunch of disruption. And when you think about it, guys, unless you have a Sycamore in your hand, you really are stuck with nothing. And on top of that, even if you do have a Sycamore, there is that high you're very likely to just discard some key resources you might need throughout the matchup, and they could just put you in a very difficult spot. And some other disruption cards we have in here are, of course, the 2 Team Flare Grunt, which discards an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And along with that, the energy disruption is even more great with the Crushing Hammer card. Flip a coin of heads, discard an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So you pair these 2 up, now you're getting your hand all screwed up, you're losing energy. And with Headringer, it's just even greater. This is really hard to read. The attacks of Pokemon this card is attached to cost 1 more. I know what it does, but I just wanted to make sure I get the correct wording. And yeah, you can only put it on Pokemon EX, but when you think about it, yeah, you're discarding their energy, you're making their attacks cost more, and you're just disrupting their hand. All kinds of stuff's going on throughout the game. They can't play trainers. This deck is absolutely it's annoying. But you also pair this up with Zero Sick, which also discards more energy, and Pokemon tools, but most of the time you're going to be just using this for energy cards because, well, they can't play tools if you have the lock on. So that's something to note there. Zero Sick just very handy. But the thing is here, of course, Tree Slam takes 3 energy, but if you pair this up with Dimension Valley, each Psychic Pokemon takes 1 colorless less for their cost for their attacks. This is only going to take 2 energy, so you can get this set up pretty quick. And that's a very good way to just kind of refresh your hand, and late game you can just kind of end your opponent to 1 or 2 or so, and if you have the lock in, then you're pretty much going to be in a good spot. Lysander's a very good way to just to bring up stuff and stall, or bring up things that might be close to being knocked out, just different scenarios. You can bring up something and use Silent Fear a bunch of times, and they're pretty much stuck. VS Seeker is going to be the way you're going to get a lot of these really annoying cards back, and just keep reusing them. Sycamore, don't really need to go over that too much. It's just in here for the the draw power. Super Rod is going to allow you to draw, shuffle in your Trevenant lines and keep those going along with energy. So that's why that is in there. And the 7 Psychic Energy, pretty much that is just so you can attack. So this deck's very, very straightforward. Trainer Lock, use these item cards to discard energy, hand disruption, and just make it to where your opponent really can't do much of anything to fight back against you. This deck did see some success at Nationals. 2 of them actually got top 8, and that's just because this deck is extremely powerful, and when you get it set up and you get it going, a lot of decks just absolutely crumble against you because a lot of them are very, very trainer reliant, and if you get the lock on pretty quickly, then you're pretty much just going to be in a bind. Because when you think about it now, a lot of decks, run Battle Compressor, and that's how they get going. They Battle Compressors supporters away, they discard Pokemon, etc. And with Trevenant out, you kind of stop that. Your opponent can't Ultra Ball for things, they can't Trainer's Mail into things, and it's just it gets really difficult, and that's why this deck just saw so much success. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe for some more content, guys. I'm going to try to post all 8 decks that got top 8, and hopefully you guys enjoy those. But thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll try to have the other Trevenant list up tomorrow, and I'll try to make the thumbnails completely different so that way you guys can tell the differences between the two. But thank you so much, and this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out. Take care, guys.